Hello, welcome back to my channel. I can't believe I'm filming this video. It has been months, like, I don't even know how long. Too long time. Who cares? Since I last posted, I last posted our announcement video announcing that we were pregnant, but before that I hadn't posted for a while, so it's been a long time coming. I just burnt myself out by trying to do way too much, which is very typical of me. I like to start hobbies and then I get 100% invested and then I cannot sustain at that level. So I'm not surprised that that happened, but I do love YouTube and I love making videos, so I didn't want to stop fully. We have gone through a lot of changes in the last few months. Obviously, the biggest one is that we're pregnant, expecting our first baby in January. Then we moved and there's been a lot to do in this new house, but making a YouTube video has just been at the bottom of my list, but it's something I've wanted to do. So that's why I look like this today. I've been painting today and I kept saying, okay, you can make your video after you do X, Y, and Z, and my to-do list just keeps growing and I really want to put out this video. I've been wanting to do videos throughout my whole pregnancy and I'm now at 30 weeks, so it's now or never because time is going really flipping fast. All of that to say, when I first found out I was pregnant, I thought, oh, you should make a video after finish each trimester to talk about how it was. Well, we are currently in the third one and I have not done that. So this is just a general Q&A video about my pregnancy. I posted on my Instagram. I asked when I was in my first trimester and I got questions then, and then I never made a video. So I'm gonna include those questions, and then I asked again this week if people just had general pregnancy questions. So, okay, let's just jump into the first question. First one, which I think most people ask, is did you have morning sickness? I will just say this as a preface to all these questions. I've loved pregnancy, and that is so rare. Pregnancy is really hard, but I have had a very easy go of it, and I can't even tell you how thankful I am for that. Like, every day I wake up, I'm like, thank you, Lord, that I'm enjoying this process, because it's a long process and it's hard, but it's been relatively easy for me. So I just want to say that I'm very grateful for that. Also, the term morning sickness is just, I don't know how I still use it. It's just sickness, typically. I was nauseous the whole time my first trimester, like basically from when I woke up to when I went to bed. I fell off, I felt sick, I had no appetite, but I never got sick. I never threw up. So I'm thankful for that. I constantly felt like I was about to throw up, but I never did. And I didn't suppress anything, because you can't. If you're gonna throw up, you're gonna throw up. It was hard being nauseous all the time for 13 weeks. And I say that now, I'm like, oh yeah, that was not fun. But I am grateful that I never physically got sick. I literally don't know how women do it. I don't know how you get through the day when that's happening. Especially when you work full time like I do. I can't just get up and anyways, regardless. So yes, was nauseous. No, did not get sick. Are you R negative blood? I am, and have been told pregnancy can be hard. So actually, yes, I am. My blood type is O negative, and I did not know this before I got pregnant. My doctor has since explained it to me. So my basic understanding of this, the basic way my doctor explained it to me, is that if you have a negative blood type, which I do, and your baby that you're carrying has a positive blood type, then when I give birth to this baby and our blood mixes, if it mixes, my body would then create antibodies to fight that positive blood type, because I can't have positive blood in my body. Therefore, my next pregnancies, if my next babies have a positive blood type, then it can lead to a lot of miscarriages, because your body has created these antibodies to fight positive blood cells. Therefore, if you have another baby that has positive blood cells, it's going to try to kill whatever that is, which is the fetus. So in that sense, yes, it can make subsequent pregnancies hard. I guess it can make it hard to get pregnant, because your body is literally trying to attack the positive blood cells. However, to combat this, you have to get a Rogan shot, which I need to actually, I'm getting in a few days, to trick your body and be just don't, whatever, this isn't here, or I don't know. I'm obviously not a scientist, but this shot is a way to combat that from happening in your future pregnancies. And then they'll give you, and they give you another shot when the baby is born as well. They'll test the blood, and if she has positive blood type, then I'll get another shot. If you are negative blood type, don't worry about it. There are this is the solution, is that you get a shot of Rogaine while you're pregnant and then after baby is born if they're a positive blood type. That's that. Is there anything you are nervous about? Well, in the first trimester, when somebody asked this, I was just nervous about losing the fetus. This was the first time we had gotten pregnant, that we had tried to get pregnant and we had gotten pregnant. So I just didn't know what would happen. You know, miscarriage is incredibly common, and I have family history of it too. So I just didn't know what my body would do. So, you know, every day you're just kind of waiting, and that early on, there's no way to know. Now the baby's kicking me every 10 minutes, but that early, there's just no way to know. So that was probably what I was most nervous about, was just losing the baby. Okay, in the first trimester, someone asked what's been your favorite part of the pregnancy so far. At that point, I just loved being able to say I was pregnant. I didn't particularly love the symptoms or being pregnant at that point, because there's nothing to show for it other than you, there's no baby bump, but you're bloated. I immediately could barely button my pants, but there was no bump. It was just felt like I was on my period. I just was so happy to be pregnant. I just was very, very grateful for that. Okay, so then these are the questions people asked this week. Just general pregnancy questions. The most shocking thing about pregnancy. Nothing has, I will just say most things that have happened have not shocked me, but I only think that's because I have so many people in my life that have been pregnant that I've watched their experiences, and so I kind of knew what to expect. I think for a lot, if you're the first of your friends or your family to get pregnant, pregnancy is shocking. And again, I've had a relatively easy pregnancy, and so I haven't had any really bad symptoms. Right now, what's shocking is how hard it is to breathe. Even I'll be laying in bed at night and have a hard time breathing. I mean, I'm okay, but I just constantly feel like I just went up a flight of stairs, even if I'm just sitting down. So that's kind of surprising, but I think, everything's just really getting compressed in here, so it's harder to take deep breaths and such. Did you use an app to track fertility? If so, which one? So yes and no. The app I used was supplemental. It's not how I tracked. So if you are trying to conceive, don't rely on an app to track when you are ovulating, because every woman is so different. Your window of fertility, one, is different for every woman, and for some women it's very short, for other women it's very long. Bottom line, my biggest recommendation if you're trying to conceive is this book, which is Taking Charge of Your Fertility. Even if you're not trying to conceive, this is an incredible book. I started reading this a few years ago when I got off birth control, but we were not ready to get pregnant, and so I started tracking my cycle as a form of birth control, and we never got pregnant for over 2 years just using this, what do they call it? It's the fertility awareness method. It is a great method of contraception if you stick to it. Anyways, read the book. I highly recommend it, even if you're not trying to get pregnant or you're trying to avoid getting pregnant. This taught me more about my cycle and women's reproductive health more than anything ever. So I highly recommend. All that to say, I used an app to help me track my daily log. You can do it paper and pencil, but they have apps to do it too. So the way you do it is by tracking your body temperature, your waking temperature when you wake up in the morning, and your cervical mucus, and that will show you at what stage of your cycle you're at. I used the app to track what I was tracking, but I didn't use an app to track my fertility. Does that make sense? Oh, this is a great question. Your favorite thing that Grant has done for you? Well, this is just who Grant is. But he's constantly checking in on me, asking how I'm doing, asking if he can do anything. So it's not like he has done one huge thing. Just my favorite thing about him in general is he's constantly supportive and wonderful And I feel very like I could cry thinking about how great he is, and I would not want to do this with anyone else. I've never once felt like I'm in this alone. Someone said, TBH, I always think of the scary / bad parts, but not the rewarding parts. Maybe share those. Again, I've been very lucky. Most have not been bad for me being pregnant. But it has been very, I don't know if I want to say rewarding yet, because you don't really get a reward at this stage, but I've loved it. Like, I feel emotionally very happy, very content, very excited. We also, we wanted this pregnancy, so I can completely understand how if it's like a surprise pregnancy for any reason, how hard that would be emotionally, because it's a huge change, but I wanted it so badly. So that has been what the most rewarding part, I guess, for me is just being pregnant. And that's probably annoying to people that are not enjoying their pregnancy, and I totally get it. I love how my body is changing. Like, I love seeing my belly grow. So I'm just trying to embrace every stage, every step of the way. And I don't want to say it's a mindset thing. Like, if you have the right mindset, you'll have a great pregnancy, because I don't think that's true. I think you can have a great mindset and have an awful pregnancy just because so much change happens to your body. My body has just it's just been easy. And so, again, I've felt lucky, but you can have a positive mindset about pregnancy. You can want it, still have a very hard pregnancy. Everyone's experience is so unique. So, but also, I will just say my favorite part probably has just been the feeling the baby. That's been awesome too. That feels like a reward anytime she moves or kicks, or, and thankfully it doesn't hurt. It might when she gets bigger, but it feels so cool to feel her moving. So that's been rewarding, is being able to feel her. Oh, then this kind of goes follow up with that. Someone asked, what does it feel like to carry a human in your body? It is very weird and surreal. It's honestly, I can't comprehend it, wrap my mind around it. Like, when you think that there's a human baby, very weird to wrap my head around. It's just a weird concept that there's actually a child in here. Especially at this stage, it's they're big, she's around 3 pounds right now, on average. It's what my apps are telling me. It's your baby's this big, around 3 pounds. Dang, that's a good size, So, but I love it. It is a freaking miracle. It's crazy. Are there a lot of hormone changes? Tears or happy? Probably. Maybe I should ask my husband if he thinks here. Oh, you know what, really? So I have not been very tearful, and that hasn't really happened. There have been some days where I get emotional, but I'm also just an emotional, I don't know, human with feelings. So it's hard to know what's just me being human and me being a hormonal pregnant lady. I don't think I've been too hormonal, other than I feel like I have lost my patience. Maybe that's due to hormones. I don't know, but my patience level, I get crankier a little. As I'm saying this, I'm yeah, maybe I am a little more hormonal. So maybe that's the biggest hormonal change. I'll get cranky. I also feel like I've been generally positive and happy, so there's some balance there, but I haven't been incredibly emotional or sad. How did you prepare in advance of getting pregnant? Essential books, podcasts. In advance of getting pregnant was just this, taking charge of your fertility. I'll link it below. But when I got pregnant, the only book I've read has been Expecting Better, which came highly recommended from my amazing sister-in-law, my sister, coworker, and I highly recommend it too. A lot of people said, don't read What to Expect When You're Expecting. So I didn't. And they just said, read this, Expecting Better. And it was / is amazing. I'm not done because I'm in the 3rd trimester section. I love this book. If you are someone that gets anxious easily and you're really worried about all this stuff that could happen while you're pregnant, which there's a lot of stuff, highly recommend this book, because the author takes all of the data that's out there and tells you why doctors give the recommendations that they do for things, and then she says, but based on the data, here's really what you can do. So anyways, I won't say more because I could talk for a whole video about this book, but it's great. Highly recommend. If you have books that you recommend for once baby is here, please put them down below, because I would love to see what your recommendations are and check out some other books. But that's the only one I read for pregnancy, and I've loved it. I have felt very not anxious this whole pregnancy, thankfully. It's easy to get anxious while you're pregnant because the risk is so high. But this book really helped put any fears I did have at bay. And anyways, again, highly recommend. These are big, great questions. I'm going to combine them, I guess. What are you learning about yourself in anticipation of the big change? And do you feel more connected to yourself? Those are two different questions, but I will say yes, I do feel more connected to myself. I feel very like me and in my body and ready to be a mom. And what am I learning about myself in anticipation of the big change? I have a hard time being introspective. I'm very good at forcing other people to be introspective as a social worker and asking people how they feel, but it's hard for me to really self-reflect and think, okay, but how do I feel and what am I learning? Well, I think if anything, I'm learning that I can do this. Like I feel more confident and capable and ready. If anything, because I know there's like, you can only do so much to prepare for parenthood. Like you can read the books, you can be a nanny like I was, you can babysit, you can be around babies, but there's no way for us to really know what it's like until we are parents. And so that in a way has been comforting for me. And I feel confident that once she's here, we'll figure it out. I feel very confident in my partnership with Grant. We have an incredible support system of family and friends. If anything, what I'm learning is to be confident in, like I'm just learning to trust process. It's not fear the process. I think I'm just learning to trust myself more and trust Grant and trust everyone around us that like, we can do it. Oh, and I think that was it, actually. Thank you to everybody that asked. If you have more, you put them down. Maybe I'll do another video before this baby gets here. I'm not going to promise anything because we've seen my track record. But let me give you a little bump update. Can you see me? So this is the bump. 30.5 weeks. She's very like, I'm definitely just growing out at this point. I haven't grown wide much, but still got 2 months to go. So who knows? That's all. I love you guys. Thank you for being here. I'm excited for all that's to come on the channel. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. And I'll see you in my next one. Bye.